Happy Friday, besties. Woohoo.
Ow, we made it.
Welcome to Friday. How are we feeling?
Exhausted. I'm a little under the weather, so I probably sound stuffy.
Oh,
It's been a week. It's been a week, y'all. It's been a week.
Oh, you got that fall, that kind of like where you bring the little small Kleenex pack with you everywhere and like the trail as you go.
Yes. I don't know if this is from like sleeping in a tent last weekend.
Oh my God.
Or I'm not sure what it's from. Or my kids,
So you slept in a tent last weekend.
I did. I survived. And I posted some photos on HR Besties stories. And I peed a couple times in basically an outhouse in a camping toilet. And then I had to remove my pee bag. And then I showered in an outdoor shower. And that was, all of it wasn't terrible except the outdoor shower because the water never got warm and it was very cold out. So it was miserable. I rinsed off my naughty bits and said, we're good to go. Like I don't want to do anything else. I just want to get out. So
Why'd you do that? Why'd you take a shower? Are you one of those people that like obsessively take it? I would have just
not obsessively, but like I just felt gross because like we had been at the game and we were sweaty and we had walked and I just wanted to like rinse off really because I knew like we were getting in the car and going home. I could take a shower at home, but like I just wanted to rinse off and it was an experience that I hope that you
did it for the gram.
Yeah, I will never do it again.
Well, I'd have to say the worst part is like when you're sticking your hand under the water and like hoping that it's going to get warm at some point and it just doesn't. In my mind, what I might have done, I definitely would not have taken the outdoor shower, but I might have like looked up on the map and been like, is there like a red roof on the way from Knoxville back to Nashville area to stop and go in and take a shower? I might have done that. How long is the drive?
It's like a 2.5, 3 hour drive.
Oh, no, never mind. I would have waited till I got home.
Yeah, Yeah. Like I said, I literally rinsed off. I was maybe in there 3 minutes. Like it was enough for my husband to snap a photo of me in my shower cap.
That was a cute photo.
Like, and I was like, okay, I'm freezing. I can't do this.
Nothing like a cold shower on a crisp fall morning. I was like,
yeah.
I'm like, oh my God.
I will say that we will be a bit of a respite from some of the political podcasts. But one fact that stuck with me this week in all these nominations, because this is the period that it's kind of like the new CEO comes into the company and is bringing all of their people with them. And like, everyone's kind of like, oh, do I dust up my resume? What do I do? But the nominee for Secretary of Defense, Pete, can't remember his last name. But how he had said a few years ago, and I sent this to the girls because I can't get this out of my mind, when he was like, he was a host on Fox and Friends, and he's like, I'm going to start saying the stuff on air that I say off air. And I think the first thing he chose to say was, I haven't washed my hands in 10 years. He's like, germs, I can't see them, so they're not real. And like, again, I hope he was joking on that.
I hope so too. That's disgusting.
But it reminded me back to one of our first episodes, which was the leaders that like go to the bathroom and bring like binders with them into the bathroom, like materials and stuff, and then are coming out talking to you, and you're kind of like wiggling, like no need to touch. But
how weird to be anti-big soap. That's all I'm thinking about. There's big oil, but big soap.
But, like I remember a lot of that too, like during COVID, where people were like saying like, I don't wash my hands that much, I'll be fine.
Terrifying.
And I'm like,
that is terrifying.
You do you, boo. I don't want to touch you or shake your hand. But also, like, I want to go back to not shaking people's hands. Like, remember during COVID, we would like do fist bumps or like elbow touches. Like, we could just go back to that because some people are really gross. And look, I'm not a germaphobe. Like, I'm really not. But ooh, honey.
Clearly not. You took a cold shower and used a potty bag. But I just can't believe the cold shower is worse than the potty bag. Well, I also laugh because I'm sure there are listeners that are like, y'all are such weenies. Like, what do you think happens when you go camping? And I mean, the answer is I have camped, but like, in the pitch of black, you're a number of drinks in, you just hide behind a tree, hope nobody's around and go quickly. But I wouldn't be able to, I don't want to pee into a bag and like tie it together. I don't need to see that.
Yeah. I mean, I guess because I had kids, you know what I mean? Like I had to change diapers and had like shit on my hands. Also, I've worked in HR. That like changing the potty bag wasn't a big deal for me. Now, if I had pooped, I could have done that. Like I would have had to walk down to the barn and use the real bathroom for that. And the barn was like quite the hall. Yes. So the barn had real bathrooms and the outdoor shower was on the barn, not in it.
Oh, it's a bougie barn.
But when I say a real bathroom, it just had a toilet and a sink. It didn't have like a shower and it was just a toilet and a sink. Yeah. And so the barn, they use it for weddings and stuff. So we're lucky there wasn't a wedding the night we were there because otherwise it would have been closed.
Wow. Yeah. See, I'm just not into cold showers.
Yeah.
I bathe in lava.
Yeah,
like
same.
I turn the thing all the way to the
Same.
Yeah. I'm the same, but at the end of it, I'd heard very similarly. I think I may have mentioned previously, like I went to the Clinique counter when I was 14, 15, and the woman there told me that when you put on your foundation, you rub it really fast in your hands, like heat it up like you're making a fire. And so I have done that for now almost 30 years. So when I'm putting on foundation, I basically make like make a fire and then put it on my face and spread it around because, Denise at Clinique, at Bacon's, whatever, taught me that in Louisville so many years ago. But the same is that sometimes someone had told me, like at the end of a shower, if you do a cold splash to your hair and to your face, it's great. And so I will like get myself all hyped up because it's the same. It is like a burning hot lava. And then I flip it and I duck into it and dance around and shake around. And sorry for these visuals, but like I do that. And that's the fundamentals of my routine. So it's similar to like the B and C, the B and D, Dove and Botox we talked about last week. Yeah, that's my shaken, cold shake and hot fire foundation.
It's good to end with cold water though, because the hair shaft closes, correct. So then and it is true. So your hair maintains moisture and it looks shiny and it gets less frizzy. So that's a hairstylist trick there. Plus, you get a little woken up at the end of the shower. That's helpful too. Oh, well, we're glad you survived that, Jamie. The pee bag collection and all of that.
I had to wake up twice in the middle of the night too to pee because I drank so much beer at the game. And so each time, like, I woke up Josh, so he knew, like, if he rolled over, I wasn't in the tent. I was like, Josh, I have to pee. Well, because, like, I don't want him to think, like, a bear got me or a coyote or something.
Yeah, they love the woods.
I have to tell you, I had a delightful weekend in Chattanooga. I had, we were talking about like last week seemed like it was like a month in a week or whatever. But yeah, I did my road trip to Chattanooga to go see Becky Robinson, entitled Housewife. We got a lot of DMs on Besties that were like, Scott. And so if you know, she's so good. And we got to meet her at the meet and greet. Her show is so good. Like, again, like not sponsored, anything like that, but she is Becky Robinson show, the She Gone tour. It was such good comedy. And she's like herself for the first chunk of the show. Then she goes and changes into this character. And it was like, we were second row. We're like, everyone's like high-fiving. But I told the girls I was at dinner beforehand and people had like, everyone was dressed up with like visors all over town. And there aren't that many restaurants. And so it was like, you saw a lot. But walking by the bar, I saw one of my friends from Dunwoody, like a not close friend, but we are Facebook friends. So a friendly person from Dunwoody. And I was like, but I laughed because I recognized her due to her partner who I'd never met in person, but had only seen on social media. And so I saw her first and I was like, oh my God. But then I was like, wait, I don't know her. So then I turned around, I was like, no, it's my friend. So I went back and so we were laughing. I hadn't seen her in a while. So
isn't it funny how you do think you know someone though that you've seen on social?
Yeah.
Like when you see them out and about, like that happens, because you're just so used to seeing their face.
Oh my God. Like somebody was like, oh my God, they were somewhere and they're like, saw my daughter. And like, we were like Facebook friends. And she's like, I have never met your daughter. She's like, I went up and knew like it was like, oh my God. And like all these things. She's like,
I've done that.
I hope I wasn't a creeper. And I was laughing so hard. I was like, no, she's used to that. So
Didn't you do that to that lady in Walmart, Jamie? Remember when you did that to that? Yeah,
Yes. Yes. And she was so fucking creeped out. And then I felt the need to show her like that I also have social media pages, and I've done that several times. Like I just want to say hi.
it's so hard to think like I bought these tickets and they came with the meet and greet because we were like close to the stage. And again, I'm like, if you'll remember, I went to the Eras tour, Taylor Swift. I was 2 rows from the top. Like I'm not normally an upfront kind of person. So I was very excited to get these. These were within my budget. But my 2 friends were like, let me ask you a question. They're like, what do you say in a meet and greet? And I'm like, they're like, will you do the talking? They're like, I don't know what you possibly say. And it is a good point because, as I mentioned, when I met Beyonce, I had to think about what to say to her. And I think what I'm going to say is good. It's
profound.
It is unusual.
Memorable.
So I kind of fucked it up a bit with Becky Robinson in that we were so excited and we did some posing and things like that. One, we're both kicking our legs in the air. You will not see that unfiltered on my stories because I did have a skirt on kind of underneath, but it was, anyway, we won't need to put that out there. But I had to think of something to say to her and she's so funny, but I was hoping to bring some sort of recognition. So I said, I comment on your posts sometimes.
You carried a watermelon. Oh, man.
Yeah, she goes, okay. And I was like, and then I didn't
She's
even
like,
have.
You do?
And I didn't even have it in me to then do the like, let me show, like, it wasn't like, let me show you my social. Just, I comment on your posts sometimes. Like, what a fucking dork.
Oh, man, that's funny.
I love that for you.
I've seen you on the internets.
Yeah, I'm here tonight to see you. Well, your ticket. I take your money. Take your money.
Oh,
cringe. So I'm never going to talk.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm never going to talk again, although I probably will.
Oh my God, that's a good one there. I love that. Oh.
So someone's welcome. So if you see us and you don't know what to say, I will never judge anybody for saying anything. I just get excited if I ever get recognized. But you can say whatever you want. There's nothing. There's no such thing as a dumb comment, except for
I see you on the internets.
You exist.
Hello works.
You exist in real life.
Oh man. See, listen how socially awkward we are now. Like it's hard to make friends. Like it's hard to talk to people now, isn't it? It seems like it's harder. I don't know why,
Like this, where
we all just got weird.
Well, I can hit the leave button at any time on our chats. I can, if I say something awkward, I can get out of there. When
true.
You're in real person, I just put my hands over my face and pretend that they can't see me anymore.
Exactly. Oh my God. I comment on your post sometimes. That's so cute. Oh man. Well, fangirling's fun. Anything going on in the world of HR?
Yeah. Well, we got some news on the non-compete ban.
Yeah. Yes. So I was, the non-compete ban I've talked about, that like a phoenix keeps rising up from the ashes. So if you'll remember, it was supposed to take effect September. It did not get struck down in court. But it got struck down in district court. And what can happen is a party can be like, I disagree, and they appeal. And that's what happened. So there were 3 cases. 2 times the non-compete ban got struck down in Florida and Texas. And then in one in Pennsylvania, it actually got upheld by the judge. But then that party was like, wait, what? This like little tree company, if you remember me talking about the tree. Oh my God, I was reading through these filings and I was chuckling because they're like, hey, I hear you. Thanks for your time and attention to this. But it did get struck down in Texas. So let's just hold off on everything. Like, I know you're in favor of this, but like, let's hold off on everything and let this judge. And the judge in Pennsylvania is like, I don't think so. Like, we'll go ahead and you can keep rolling this out. I've already ruled against you. Again, you have to imagine they probably will continue to do so. And the ATS Tree Service is like, but finally they're like, dismiss the case. They're like, well, we're going to stop challenging it here. We're going to let Texas roll. So that's what happened in that one. But
it's for the best.
For the best. I was like,
Yeah,
okay,
for
it was
them.
getting smacked down in court. But both of the district court cases are getting appealed to the courts of appeal. And I've said, like, the path to that, no matter what happens, is potentially ultimately the Supreme Court, which seems unlikely to reinstate the ban. But speaking of appointments, this week, newly reelected President Trump, I don't know if that's the official title. I'll have to see what you call him on the holiday card, I guess. But he said he's going to nominate Matt Gaetz, congressman from Florida, as Attorney General. And that has gotten a lot of news for a lot of reasons. But one thing that I was like, wait, what? He's in favor of the non-compete ban. And why that's unusual is that the non-compete ban is pretty partisan. So the FTC issued this rule because President Biden told them to by executive order, like an announcement or an executive order 2-3 years ago. And so it's very much a partisan issue. So it's incredibly rare for any Republican to come out in favor of it, of the ban. But Matt Gaetz not only had retweeted it, the FTC, back when it happened, but he filed this court briefing called the amicus brief. Only one member of Congress did that, and that was Matt Gaetz, who is so passionately in favor of the non-compete ban. And why that matters is now the government agency that leads all these appeals in court is the Department of Justice, which he would be the leader of. And so many people, including personally me, had expected, when President Trump becomes President Trump again in January, that he would be either drop the appeal or whatever. And so now it'll be interesting to see what happens. Like any leader and subordinate, if Matt Gaetz is so passionately for the non-compete ban, does he continue pushing this in court? What will President Trump's position be on it? And so it's it breathed some new life into the potential for the non-compete ban. I still don't know that it changes anything, but it was very, very, very surprising. So yeah, so I've been tracking that, and then the exempt salary as well, which the exempt salary, the increase is supposed to take effect January 1st. The DOL exempt salary, it's a big jump from about $44K to about $59K. There was a federal court hearing in Texas on Friday. I listened to the whole thing, walking around with AirPods, taking notes. So hopefully there's not maybe there'll be a decision by the time the happy hour comes out. But
is this the one you called?
I did. This is what I called the judge.
Yeah.
I called the clerk. I called straight to the judges, not the chambers, but the clerk, because they issued this hearing, and I was like, oh, I'd love to participate. Because I told Leigh, I was like, I would go and watch these arguments. I'm coming
down
to Texas.
Austin. Yeah.
Okay. But
I'll drive up there and meet you.
Right. Then the clerk's like, we'll have a listen-only phone number, and you can't record it or anything like that. But I listened to it and transcribed it and was like, but I will say the lawyer for the Department of Labor, who I think is going to lose, or she's the Department of Justice attorney. I personally expect it's going to get struck down, but I'm watching it. So please don't just solely rely on me, but not that you would. But she's I think 33-year-old lawyer. And I tell you what, she was taking punch after punch. What they issue after this hearing is called the minutes. It's how long everybody spoke. She spoke for the vast majority of it. And by speak, I mean answering questions from the judge. And his questioning was all, stuff that needs to be asked, I guess. But it was basically and she kept on going. And so despite everything, you love to see someone really perform well under pressure, especially young female attorney. I think afterwards I was I used to get nervous for one-on-ones with my boss at 33 years old, let alone to be in front of a real judge where I know somebody with a business and bullshit podcast and a million other, probably the 25 other people are listening to it. So anyway, so I'm just doing my journalistic things here.
Hoping to go to Denver. You're just warming up for Denver is all. The big Sherm trial.
So I know Ashley and I've talked about, we're in a Facebook group. It's an HR Facebook group. And someone had posted something anonymously, so I'm not calling anyone out. And I thought it was funny. And I immediately sent it to our text group, because if this isn't HR in a nutshell, I don't know what is. So I'm going to paraphrase it, but essentially, it's an HR practitioner who was in the meeting with the CEO and leadership team discussing the upcoming salary exemption change. And of course, they have one group of employees that would likely be changing from salary to hourly. And the leadership change the leadership team actually wants to go ahead and bump them up, even though it's quite a big bump to the salary. And even though the CEO knows that there is obviously a possibility that this might not happen and it might be stopped, he's willing to take a risk. And he basically wants to not do anything. Like, he doesn't want to plan for it. He doesn't want to worry about it. And she's so like, well, I say she, we don't know if it's a girl or a boy because it's anonymous, but the comments were like, we're not surprised. CEOs never listen to us. Like, this is a law. Like, we have to enforce it. It's not like if you feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just thought I literally like was just laughing because of all the things that I've, especially like in my time as HR department of one, like having tell the CEO, like, no, this isn't an option. We don't have the option of whether we do or don't do this. We have to do it. So I just thought that was funny.
In a sad way. I know. Yeah. I was just reflecting on all the contentious talks, and how kind of earlier in my career, I would say things like my language to a leader would sound more flexible. I don't know how to put that, or just more collaborative. And then later in my career, I would go do the thing to keep us, in line legally, and then just kind of, answer to finance later when they saw a spike in something or whatever, just ask forgiveness basically for following the law or tell the leader, hey, we're doing this.
No, totally.
Like very directive like language with those kind of just a little HR crazy eye. It's that right there. So we're doing this.
Yeah.
I already did this. I did this morning. And now, guess what? We're not violating the Constitution, okay? Like literally, it could be like just the craziest things, They don't.
Like, I brought you this law for funsies.
Oh, exactly.
Well, that's the challenge. And I actually think this is a good topic for a broader episode, but it is the challenge if you're in a group, for example, like you may have let's say a title, you're like the HR for the whole organization, and you're like the HR coordinator, and you're like, can you please give me some other title? And they're like, no, that's not going to happen. But then these things happen, and there's not a lawyer, like there's not an internal lawyer, like in-house lawyer, and so often HR kind of has to be this internal lawyer because it can be much easier to have the lawyer. It's like I totally, having been a lawyer and HR, people do listen to lawyer, like HR, there's always this question of like, surely, like, hell hath no fury than a CEO that goes golfing on a Friday and comes back and is like, no, my foursome guy told me there's a loophole and you should have found it. And you're like, oh, for fuck's sake.
I actually have a good story about that. And I'll keep it quick because I know this is happy hour. I want to get my drink on. But during during COVID, when they were pushing the vaccine for healthcare workers, obviously I approached my CEO and we went through it, and I was like, all of our people are going to have to be vaccinated, and it never ended up going through. But anyway, they wanted to call outside counsel because we didn't have general counsel, and we did. And I shit you not, the lawyer on the phone said, this is HR 101 to me. And I was so pissed, and I was like, good, you can tell that to my CEO because she don't believe me. So yeah. But luckily it ended up not going through. Did I get screamed at by at least 5 employees because they didn't want to be vaccinated? Yes.
At least.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, and it's like once again, this isn't my fucking rule, y'all. Like, I didn't decide this. Jesus.
The forever fall gals and guys for
the life of HR,
the law.
I tell you. Yeah. Like the life of HR.
God.
It is thankless. But I'm thankful to have you all to talk about it with, and
For
all
real.
of you listening that are nodding along and being like, oh, TGIF.
For real. I actually have some bullshit too I want to talk about. One, my sweater, y'all can't see it because you're obviously.
I can see the pumpkins.
My sweater is from Sam's Club. And it's cute because it has pumpkins all over it. But tell me why does one of the pumpkins have a face on it and it's right on my boob?
What?
That one.
Is that a face?
Yes. What the fuck? It's got pumpkins all over it and I have a face on my boob. Sam's. I'm about to go to my son's Thanksgiving lunch with a pumpkin face on my boob.
Ooh, okay.
Oh gosh.
Maybe just
it's very festive.
If you have a school name tag, just pop it right on top.
I absolutely will.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Well, fun times with our pumpkin boob. But just quickly before we say have a good weekend and relax, refresh, recharge, and all that fun stuff, we are filming our last episode of the year next week. Right? And so you'll hear it in a few weeks. But we need questions from all of you all. So share your questions with us, Questies for the Besties, so that we can answer all those. Anything goes. We may not answer it, but you can ask, but anything goes.
Leah let you know what her fee is for the certain questions to answer. There's some premium. She'll find some premium content in there. Directed to Leigh, please. Just write state school in the subject line. HRBesties.com. Go to the contact and you can submit it.
Yes, please submit so we can share. But what a note to end on.
And we will have our holiday schedule. I'll be popping that on our Instagram. Maybe we'll pop that in the show notes next week coming up, just so you can see our holiday schedule. We're gonna take a little time to recharge, and TGIF until then.
And you all should too.